Good afternoon, Chelsea fans. Welcome to part 3 of this mini-series, Chelsea's summer. First, we were looking at the situation with the current squad. If we had to play a game now, who would be the strongest 11 of the squad that we currently have at Chelsea? Part 2 yesterday was about the players we think realistically will leave the club in the summer. Those coming back from loan, those with contracts expiring, and the first team players that will be sold. And today, the final part, is about players that we think realistically will come into Chelsea, and we've been linked with so many players. We have to be genuine, we have to be realistic. What with the global financial markets, because of the coronavirus, and most importantly of all, looking bad if you go out and spend 100, 150, 200 million this summer. Let's get cracking. So to yesterday's video and the 11 players that I believe will leave the club with a total transfer fee income into the squad of around 220 million, and some of those will be replaced, some of them won't because they've been out on loan. But the players that we said yesterday that will be released from their contracts because they're going to expire this summer, and let's face it, they don't feature for Chelsea at all, is Baba Rahman, Kennedy, Marco Van Inkel and also Pedro. But Pedro's slightly different because Pedro's already been replaced with Hakim Ziyech coming into the club. So that's a deal already done. That's an area already strengthened. That's if we keep the other 3 players in attacking areas, Willian, Hudson-Odoi and Pulisic. Also, of those loan players, I stated that the likes of David Zappacosta will go back to Italy, around 20 million. Victor Moses will go to Italy, to Inter Milan, even though they're griping over the transfer fee. Maybe around 10 million. We know Alvaro Morata will go because he's already on loan and that deal's already done. And Tayoumi Bakayoko was another of the loanees returning. That will be sold. And again, I can't see them being replaced. I can't see a like-for-like replacement being signed for all those players released or sold. And the current squad, there was 4 players that I stated yesterday that will go. Pedro was one of them. Emerson was the second one. Jorginho was the third. Michy Batshuayi was the 4th. So it's those 4 areas and possibly one other that I think Chelsea will look to strengthen and will sign in the summer. So 4 to 5 new players that are going to come straight into our first team squad to fight for places will be in the summer. So let's get cracking. So let's go through each department in the side. So as I said yesterday, goalkeepers. There won't be any changes. Kepa, Willy Caballero and his new contract, Jamie Cumming. They're going to stay in the squad and they'll be the 3 keepers next season. Kepa will continue to improve. Stick with him, have faith. You know, he's been linked with the likes of Valencia. I can't see him going unless they pay a big fee, and I can't see they're going to do that. I don't think they've got the money to do that. So he stays at Chelsea. So defenders that we've been linked with, and we've been linked with so many left back, it's untrue. Achraf Hakimi, the Real Madrid left back, on loan at Dortmund. Nicolas Tagliafico at Ajax we've been linked with. Robin Gosens, the German left back over at Atalanta. As we know, Ben Chilwell, the Leicester defender who's England's #1 left back. More recently, Fodé Ballo-Touré, the Monaco left back, was been linked with a move to Chelsea. And finally, Alex Telles, the Porto defender who's heavily linked with PSG. So out of all those names, I think there's 2 realistic targets for Chelsea, and I think one of them is Ben Chilwell. The second one is Robin Gosens, the German left back over at Atalanta. With Emerson leaving and Marcos Alonso staying, in my view, because Alonso gives us the option as a wing back, we need much more of a defensive minded fullback. Out of the 2, Chilwell and Gosens, who would you sign? Robin Gosens is 26. Ben Chilwell's 23, but Ben Chilwell will be much more expensive, almost 3 times as much as Gosens. And I think the fact that you need someone that's much more defensive minded that can come and slot straight in, I think it's Ben Chilwell. I think Ben Chilwell would be a Chelsea signing, and I can't see Chelsea paying any more than 50 to 60 million, and I think Leicester will take it. Leicester themselves are eyeing up alternatives already, and I think if they can get 60 million in the current climate this summer for Chilwell, then they'll take it. So for me, Ben Chilwell will be the second signing into Stamford Bridge this summer following Hakim Ziyech, around 50-60 million. So to the other defenders we've been linked with, and it's mainly been centre back. and there's been 3 centre-backs linked with Chelsea heavily over the course of the last few months. Nathan Ake, the ex-Chelsea defender, with a reported buyback option of around 40 million. Koulibaly over at Napoli, and also Gabriel Magalhaes, who we believe has already agreed a pre-contract with Everton. I said in my video yesterday, I think Frank Lampard will stick with all 4 we've got. Tomori, Rudiger, Zuma and Christensen. He'll stick with all 4. None of them will go. And I can't see us signing any other defenders other than Chilwell as the left back. So to midfielders now, and as I said yesterday in my video, I think Jorginho will go. So if Jorginho goes, and hopefully we keep holding N'Golo Kanté, I think one or the other goes and it will be Jorginho. His agents come out today, already beginning to talk of Juve being the great European team that everyone wants to play for. He's going to go. So we need to replace Jorginho. So do you replace him with someone that is defensive minded or someone that's a ball playing midfielder? Think of the attacking options we've already got. Think of the midfielders we've already got. Box to box mainly. One defensive minded midfielder we have, which is N'Golo Kanté. Yes, Reece James can come in and play that role, but naturally defensive minded is Kanté. Most of the midfielders that Chelsea have been linked with are either ball playing midfielders or attacking midfielders, apart from one. We've been linked with the likes of Jack Grealish. We've been linked with the likes of Kai Havertz. We're also being linked with the likes of Miralem Pjanic, who wants to go to Barcelona, doesn't want to come to Chelsea, and Angel Gomez, Man United, who is not going to be someone that's going to walk straight into the Chelsea team. We want someone to come in and fight for a place straight off the bat. So I think when it comes to the middle of midfield, the deeper line midfield roles, I think that Declan Rice is a real option for Chelsea. Having been at Chelsea as a youngster, given an opportunity to come back with his best mate Mason Mount to work under Frank Lampard, I think will be too much of a draw. West Ham will try and hold out for as much as possible. I think in this current climate, financial climate, I think 40-50 million will get the deal done, despite the fact David Moyes is coming out and saying that he'll want to go for Billy Gilmour if we want to go for Declan Rice. Give him Gilmour on loan for a season. Let him play there. See how it all goes. But I think a genuine, legitimate target is Declan Rice, the centre-half converted as a midfielder. You think about his early form as a youngster that's only going to grow and progress and get better. He's already showing signs that he could be class, a real class act. So what about the rest of our midfield? And I think we're all set. Unless someone comes out and says they're not happy, I think we're set in our midfield. Our centre-backs are set. I think the rest of our centre midfield is set, as long as Kanté stays. So moving on to the attacking areas now, and as I say, I think Frank Lampard will get in Willian's ear and will ask him to stay on, and will try and convince him to sign the 2-year deal he's been offered. Despite the fact he wants 3, I think Frank being back at the training ground, being able to chat to Willian and get in his ear constantly, I think that Willian will eventually cave and sign the 2-year deal. Ziyech already coming in for Pedro as a like-for-like replacement, and think we got Mason Mount that can play as a number 10. Ziyech can play number 10, Pulisic can play number 10, and Mason Mount can play as a number 10 if required, if we want to play 4-2-3-1. So I think we're pretty much set in the wide areas. Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic one side, Willian, Ziyech the other, fighting, battling. I think we're set. I said in the video yesterday that Michy Batshuayi will leave. He's definitely gone. Palace or West Ham. Batshuayi could be involved in the deal for Declan Rice. 40 million plus Batshuayi for Rice. I think David Moyes and West Ham will take that. So, Batshuayi's gone, so we need to replace him. Now, we've been linked with a whole host of forwards. Lautaro Martinez doesn't want to come to Chelsea, wants big money. Inter Milan want 100 odd million euros. Chelsea not going to pay that. Let him go to Barcelona. Bearing in mind that all the rest of the players are up for sale because they've got financial problems. Martinez, I can't see it. Timo Werner wants Liverpool. Doesn't want to play for Bayern Munich in Germany. He wants to come to Liverpool. But Liverpool have come out, or one of their executives has come out and said they're not going to be spending big money this summer. And I think that could be an indication for how the Premier League actually works. You might see these deals. I'm saying, 40, 50, 60 million here and there. I think you might have a partial payment with a loan deal first, Chilwell, Rice, and then big money at the end of next year. Because I think it looks bad if you go out and spend that amount of money. in total, 200 odd million on players, 250. I think it's going to be different this summer. Maybe loans first, but I still think we'll get those players because of a down payment and the promise to pay at the end. As I said, Chilwell, Ziyech is already in, Rice will be the next one. The forwards, Werner, I can't see Chelsea paying 52 million, I think it is, for Werner. I would pay it, but we all know he doesn't want to come here. He wants to go to Liverpool. So Werner's out the equation. So Martinez is out, Werner's out. Another one that let us down was Dries Mertens, who's had a complete U-turn. He's going to sign a 3-year contract to stay at Napoli and pocket 2.2 million euros, and in his pocket for signing that deal, he's going to stay at Napoli. He's out the equation. Another one. Moussa Dembele over at Lyon, having been playing at Celtic previously. He is now talking up a move to Man United. Man United are keen to sign him. They're willing to pay the 60 million that Lyon want. Lyon have now got a situation where their season's now finished. They've finished 7th. They've got no European football. They've got to sell their best players, but they want the right money. I think Dembele was a potential Chelsea target, but I think Man United's going to be too big for him and he's going to go to United. So this is the strikers we've been linked with, but there's one other which I'll get into in just a bit because I think it's between him and one other player, but I'll come back to that because I want to focus on the attacking players. Other attacking players that can play wide or number 10s. First up, Wilfried Zaha, can't see it. We're going to completely discard that. We've been linked with him. Jeremy Boga is a very realistic possibility as the 5th signing. I think he's a real option because he can play as a fullback and also as a winger. And to bring him back for just 13 million is a real option. I think if Chelsea want to go ahead and make one extra signing, I've said 4 players will go out. 4 current first team squad members will leave. We'll bring 4 players in to replace them, but I think one other, and it will be Boga. So I think if Frank Lampard wants an additional option, Boga's the man. Philippe Coutinho is someone that's been linked with Chelsea, then he's not, then he is, then he's not, then he is, then he's not. I think it's pretty clear that Coutinho, if given the option, will come to the Premier League, but we all know he wants Liverpool, but Liverpool don't want him back. Barcelona will probably have to sell him if he goes back there. Newcastle will have loads of money. With the new takeover from the Saudi investors, they're going to have mega money to spend and they want Coutinho. Does Philippe Coutinho fit into the Chelsea squad as it is with the players leaving and coming in? We've already got the 4 out wide. We've already got players that can play number 10 and our midfield is sorted. I'm not too sure that Coutinho is an option realistically for us. And I think Bayern will exercise an option to keep him on loan for next season as well. So when you think about it and you put everything in perspective, Coutinho's the next one that's gone. As I said earlier about the striker, there was one person I wanted to talk about. And in the attacking areas, there's one other person I want to talk about. It's down to 2 players for me as the 4th signing. And that all depends on Willian. If Willian stays, then I think the 4th signing, and I think Chelsea will go after him for experience, will be Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. If you can sign him for 30 million, absolute steal, you're going to get 2-3 good seasons out of him. He gives Chelsea an option where he can drift out and play on the left-hand side. Mainly through the middle, as we all saw with Dortmund, but he can drift out and play wide on the left. He can play 2 different positions. 30 million for a proven goal scorer in Europe. Think Abraham still learning the game, still young. He's done so well this season. He's a bit more mobile. Olivier Giroud is your target man, your link man. Aubameyang is everything rolled into one for me. And I think if you're given that option, and I think Frank will be more than interested, 30 million for Aubameyang, I think he's up there as a realistic signing. Arsenal need to sell him. He doesn't want to sign a new deal. They're not going to keep him and let him go for nothing. They want money for him. They'll sell him. But it's between him and Jadon Sancho. Because we all know Jadon Sancho is a Chelsea fan. He's got friends here at Chelsea like he has in other clubs, I know. But there is a real possibility that Chelsea are interested in Sancho here. Again, I cannot see it being 100 million up front. I can't see that happening. And I'm wondering if Sancho will stay at Dortmund for another season because of the fact that no one's going to pay 100 million for one single player this summer. Because it's going to look bad. I think if nothing had happened, Corona, worldwide, and we played the season out, and I mean, tomorrow's the FA Cup final, for example. Season's already been finished. I think this summer would have been huge for Chelsea, and I could see Chelsea going out spending 200, 250 million, maybe 300 million easy, because of the amount of money we got coming in, the money we've saved from not spending during the transfer ban, and additional revenue we would have had anyway. Chelsea have got so much money to spend. That's if everything was normal. It isn't. And that's why I think Sancho is maybe a year too soon. And I think he'll stay at Dortmund in Germany for another year. And then you're going to have the big guns coming in and willing to pay big money next summer. And that's why I think if Frank Lampard can get Willian to stay and he'll be set for his wide areas, he will go Aubameyang. If we want to be realistic, and we have, this is what it's all important. This is what this is all about. We're just trying to spitball here and ideas, but we can't ignore the financial markets. The fact it's going to look bad if you go out and spend so much money. And I think that will come into play with a lot of these deals, Coutinho, Sancho. And that's why I think that Chelsea will go after Aubameyang. I think if he's given the opportunity to come to Chelsea, to be an experienced player with Giroud, leading the line with Tammy Abraham, the three of them combining together, training together, I think that Aubameyang could give Chelsea a great couple of seasons. He'll score plenty in our team. And I think that's a realistic target, and a target that probably excites Frank Lampard. Yes, Sancho, we all know the quality he's got, but as I'm saying, I can't see anybody paying over 100 million for a player. And I think that's why it's a year down the line. So that's my realistic signings. So Chelsea could spend 130 million on 3 players in addition to Ziyech this summer. On 4 players, replacing like for like those that are leaving. That's what I think is realistic. That's what I think the club will look to do. And the one addition is Boga for 12 million. That's just me. That's just what I think. What do you think? So guys, that's it for part 3, the final part of this little mini series. If you've enjoyed the video, smash that like button for me, then subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss anything. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and if you've missed parts 1 and 2, check them out here listed. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.